Hi. As many of you know, May registration used to be J-term, but because of COVID, it got flipped. May registration starts next Monday, February 8th. Unfortunately, the college calendar did not allow an actual advising period before this registration period, where you normally have several weeks of advising. So a lot of you will not be able to meet with your advisors before this registration. It's not that big of a deal. It's just one class you're trying to pick. So I'm going to make a quick video to lead you through how to find that class. Go to your degree audit. The view will look a little different on your end than it does look on mine, but you should find a link for your degree audit. When you get to your degree audit, there's a bunch of things out there, but you want to focus on your majors and minors and your gen ed audit. The other boxes there, don't worry too much about them. Those are what you're looking for probably for May. We're going to go through pretty quickly how to find gen ed courses, what courses are available for management and marketing majors. The minors you can find in a similar process, but we'll focus on those majors, and the possibility of using May term for an open elective. Here's a live degree audit. I mentioned the gen ed audit, the majors. If you're a junior or a senior, you might want to look at the credits outside the department, particularly if you're a senior, because you want to make sure you're going to have 82 of those. But most of you, that's not a concern. It's going to be gen ed or down here. I'm going to click on the gen ed, and you want to look at it and find something that says required and not met. We could do any of these. I'm going to go with fine arts. And it's an interesting one because there are different ways to meet fine arts. You can meet it with a bunch of fine arts practice classes, ensembles, and lessons. Most management marketing majors will not do that. They will just take a regular fine arts course. So if you click on humanities or sciences, it's going to look a lot like this. So in fine arts, it says, well, what are the available courses? And it's going to pop up looking like this. Right now, notice it says fall 2020. It could say different things on yours. So if it's the wrong term, you click search again and change it. Now it is May term, but in the computer system it's J term. Notice it put the fine arts requirement in here automatically because I got here through the degree audit. You will probably want to change this to open when your registration time comes, because why look at classes that are full? And it will show you all the options that are open when you register to meet that requirement. It'll work pretty much the same for the sciences, humanities, whatever you're looking for. Another way to get to these classes, if you're just curious, instead of going through your degree audit, you can go and it's going to look different for you. You can go into the general course search, put the term that you need in there, January 2021, and you can choose a department, or you can choose any particular requirement. I had the non-lab. Let's look for lab science just for kicks. You can look for open ones, and you'll see what's available. You can do non-lab sciences. And see what's available. I want to address one of the things on this list that some of you will see is the Carnegie Symposium requirement. So there are several. Some of them are trips. That's a different category, but some of them aren't. So I'm going to let that hold for a minute and come back to Carnegie Symposium. Last month, the faculty voted to make some changes to gen ed requirements. Possibly temporary, but they made some changes. One of them in particular is the Carnegie Symposium requirements being waived for anyone enrolled this year or next year. The academic year is 2021 or 21-22. So if you look at your degree audit that says you need the symposium, you're not really going to need it. It doesn't mean you won't want to take one, because if you look at the Carnegie Symposiums, first of all, some of you are going to want to go on trips, so that's what they are, a lot of them. But others, they cover things other than just Carnegie Symposium. Some cover humanities, some cover fine arts, some will cover sciences. There's great classes. They can be a lot of fun, but if your audit says you need it, technically you don't under the current rules that we passed. So what about majors? If you're a management or marketing major, the accounting and finance department has a couple of interesting classes. Some of you need financial accounting still. Grab it. Here's a chance to get it. The accounting information systems isn't really appropriate for most management and marketing majors. The real estate analysis, however, doesn't have a prereq and could be a very useful course based on what you want to do when you graduate. So that's one you might want to consider taking. If you're looking for electives within the management and marketing majors, there are two of them that will count for the management major. Managing Leading in a Complex World has a prereq of Principles of Management. That's Management 30-3120. Marketing 400, Advanced Professional Selling, has a prereq of the Marketing Personal Selling class. If you've had those prereqs, you could take either one of these and they will count towards an elective in the management major. In the marketing major, the selling class will count as an elective in the marketing major. For the marketing major, however, that's not currently listed in the degree audit. So if you do enroll in that class, when you meet with your advisor, and I'll talk about meeting with your advisor later, make sure they know that and they contact me as the department chair, and I'll make sure it counts as one of your marketing electives. We also have a GNR class. GNR stands for General, so it doesn't have the departmental label on it, but the Small Business Fundamentals class, I've spoken to the instructor, and this would be an appropriate elective for management majors. So again, if you want to take that class and you get enrolled in that, when you do meet with your advisor, make sure they contact the department chair, me, and I will get that counted as a management elective. The management electives are broader than the marketing. You may have caught that already in these examples. So either of these for management or this for management. If you're looking for a marketing elective, this one's the only marketing elective. So maybe you don't want to take a gen ed requirement or something for a major. You do have room for open electives. You can take them. There's a lot of interesting classes out there, so take something that looks interesting to you. You'll learn more, you get a higher grade, you've got a chance to sit down with an expert in some field that you may not get in the future to learn about something. If you say, well, nothing looks that interesting that's open, think about what might be useful. And it's a very broad range of things that could be useful based on what you're going to do when you graduate. Think about things that build communication skills, analytical skills, open up content areas that you haven't thought about that might be appropriate down the road, making connections in the business world. Look for something useful if nothing's interesting. Now, speaking of advising, you will get a chance to see your advisor before fall registration. Fall advising begins on February 22nd and ends on March 19th. When you go in for that advising, and you definitely want to see your advisor, especially if you're a freshman or a sophomore, you want to be mapping out a little more what's going on. Make sure you bring, here's what I registered in for May, so they can figure out how it fits into your plan. Finding a May term class on your own is a little bit of a challenge, but it's one class you need to find. You've got your degree audit. Certainly you can email questions to your advisors, but unfortunately we won't have a chance for the advising appointments. So get on the classes the best you can and bring that information to your regular advising appointment.